Welcome back to the Taste Show. This is Chef Perry Palachi, and today we're gonna make for you a really fun fusion dish. It's gonna be skirt steak, sweet potato, and broccoli. We're gonna have some elements of French cuisine, Mexican, and Korean. So let's get started. First, we're gonna have our beautiful skirt steak over here. I love skirt steak. Has a really wonderful texture, nice marbling. You wanna make sure you have a nice amount of fat over there. I think it takes really well to marination, as well as I love the taste of char, especially with the skirt steak. We're gonna do like a barbecue marinade. Ketchup is gonna be the base. So we're gonna start off, we have some jalapenos over here. We have a healthy amount of garlic. We have some ginger. I don't bother to peel it. I just chop it right up. We have some cilantro, brown sugar. This is a fun little kitchen trick if you want. You put the citrus in the tongs. That way, if you don't want to get dirty, you have a citrus juicer. It's just another little trick for you. All right, and I put the whole lime inside. I juiced the lime, and same thing with the orange. Orange is gonna add some really nice sweetness, and I just put it right inside. All right, and the last ingredient I'm gonna add to the marinade, this is gochujang. So this is a Korean style chili paste. I love it because it hits a lot of notes. It's a savory paste, and it's gonna have a smoky, sweet, and spicy flavor. And if you don't like spicy or you can't find it, you can omit it. You can use something like maybe sriracha. Sriracha is gonna be a little spicier. So we're gonna just incorporate all those good things together. Okay, that's looking good. The acid in the citrus is gonna help break down the protein on the steak, so it's gonna make it even more tender. This marinates for up to 4 steaks. So we're gonna let this hang out for at least 3 hours to let the flavors really penetrate the meat. Next step, we're going to make essentially a mashed potato to go with our skirt steak. This is a sweet potato, and this is coming from California. What I love about this is its color. So this is a purple sweet potato, and we're just gonna wrap this in foil, roast it 350 degrees for an hour. At least it should be fork tender, all right? So when you pierce it with a knife or a fork, it should give no resistance. Okay, as that's roasting, we're going to work on our vegetable. We're gonna do something very simple, is a broccoli. I love broccoli. We're gonna give it a blanch. So we have boiling water, salt, either a kosher salt or a sea salt. Something like table salt, I feel, to cook with is difficult because you can't get a good feel for it because it is so aggressive. So we wanna wait for this to come up to a boil, and we're just gonna give this a quick blanch. I don't wanna cook it all the way because we are going to be roasting it. All right, guys, our broccoli has been cooking for about 4 minutes. Again, there's still some texture to it because we don't want to cook it all the way because we are going to be roasting it again. So now I have an ice bath. So this is called shocking, and we're just going to cool that down. So once it's cool, we can start preparing it. Let's take a look at our sweet potato that's been cooking. Just want to make an incision. See, that's going right in. Looks good. All right, so we're gonna take that guy out. So you wanna make sure it's not too hot. You can let it cool a little bit. There we go. All right, this is just a little paring knife, and we're just gonna peel that skin. And it's really gently gonna come off. Obviously, you can see the color of this beautiful potato. It's really gonna jump on the plate. So now it is time to mash. We are going to add maple syrup, cayenne pepper, salt. We're gonna make a beautiful mashed potato. Can't do it without a healthy amount of butter, right? So we're gonna mash this all together. Look at the color. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, our sweet potato's looking great. Next step is going to be to take our broccoli out of our water. I'm just gonna simply just cut it right in half. And I like to roast this on a very, very high heat. I have the oven preheated at 425 degrees. There's all these kind of nooks and crannies and crevices. So the oil goes in between all these little cracks, and it gets really, really crispy. It's a lot of complexity to the roasted broccoli flavor. So some salt and pepper and oil, and we're gonna roast this about 10 minutes, up to 15 minutes, but you really wanna get a nice char. We're going to sear our steak. I'm using a cast iron pan. It needs to be ripping hot, smoking hot, and I actually don't use any fat. I don't use any oil or anything like that because I do want to aggressively char the meat. I want that reaction of the sugars of the ketchup to caramelize. As you're adding something cold and this has a liquid on it, it's immediately going to drop the temperature of the pan. So that's why you want it to be so hot. You see that color? You see that char? That's gonna be unbelievable flavor. That's what we're looking for. Okay guys, now it's time to assemble our tomatillo salsa. I love tomatillos because they bring a natural acidity, very similar to, let's say, like a green tomato, but it's gonna have a little bit more of a bite to it. And I love using it in raw preparation. It's very simple. Just remove the husk, just like so. I'm gonna give it a quick wash. Just a small dice, so you have these nice jalapeno. I tend to like things a little bit spicy. Very easy. Once you open your jalapeno, you can remove the seeds. And again, I'm going to do a small dice. Here we go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want them like size. And because I like a little bit of heat, I am gonna add a little bit of the seeds because that's where the power is gonna come from. Great. All right, so that's inside. So we have some cilantro, some parsley. So I want to talk about red onion or any type of onion when you're using it in a raw preparation. I love the flavor of red onion, the bite it brings to the dish or to a salsa, but I feel like it is a very strong ingredient. I am going to rinse it under some cold water just to remove some of that aggressive raw onion flavor. So I'm just going to give it a quick rinse, and that's it. That's all you need. There we go, we have our red onion. And just a little trick on mincing garlic. I like to use a rasp or a microplane. I think it's faster and it makes your cutting board not as stinky. And same thing, raw garlic is very, very aggressive. So it tends to take over things. So you really want to use things like raw onion and raw garlic sparingly. We're going to bring the sauce all together. We have some olive oil, lots of fresh lime juice. Let's check that. I might add more lime, and of course we need some salt. This is a beautiful pink Himalayan salt. It's a very kind of rustic salsa. You'll see the big chunks of tomatillo, and the idea is it's just going to be very refreshing. All right, so let's check our seasoning. That's good. I have nice bite from the tomatillo. I have it from the red onion, but I don't just feel onion. It's rounded out with the olive oil. I'm gonna add a little bit more lime juice. Then it's time to bring the dish together, okay? All right, guys, let's check on our beautiful roasted broccoli. Oh yeah, look at that. You see the nice char on the florets? The flavor of this is unbelievable. I just love the color of that. It's nice and rustic. Roasted broccoli. It's gonna have a really, really nice texture. The florets are nice and crispy. All right, and then here is our skirt steak. And I'm cutting against the grain. I'm cutting on a bias. And you can see that lovely black, that char. It's a really wonderful contrast of flavor from the sweet to the smoky. Looks pretty good. I love the colors going on. And we're just gonna finish it with our tomatillo salsa. Lovely. I don't know, guys, that looks pretty good. Let's see what we got here. This really is like my style of cooking because there's like a lot of things going on. There's sweet, there's sour, there's char, there's smoky. I can feel the caramelized ketchup and the chili paste, almost that burnt sugar flavor, but it's a pleasant sweetness. The broccoli is tender, but it's also crispy. It's great. Please enjoy. See you next time at the Taste Show.